Yo, what is going on, guys? Miguel here. So today we're coming at you with a video on how to nail the first 7 seconds of a door knock. Now, this could relate to a cold call, but door knocking is going to have a lot of different strategies as you are there in person, and there's a much different approach when it comes to that. And I do believe that first 7 seconds is the most important piece of all this. Okay. So if you guys never been here before, of course, my name is Miguel. I am licensed out in London, Ontario, Canada. I'm a Canadian real estate agent. I've been licensed for 4 years, and so I started selling when the market shifted. And I own a small team, and I built my whole business door knocking. That's what I wanted to tell you guys, right? So we're just gonna get right into it. So I have made videos in the past around like your pitch and everything, right? And I just really wanted to focus more or less on that first 7 seconds when you door knock, okay? Now, I'm not gonna say this won't be like the first 7 seconds of like when you talk to them. It's really the first 7 seconds of what happens, right? Because I've never timed how long it takes for me to get my first part through, but that time from when you knock to the time where before you dive into your script is going to be very important. Now, when I say diving into your script, I mean, every script's going to be like, do you have any plans? We just sold 123 Main Street around the corner, and usually when you see one sell, you're going to see some other ones come up for sale. So my question is, who do you know that might have any interest in, who may need a hand buying, investing, or selling, whatever, right? That's your script. That's the body of the script. However, that first 7 seconds, doesn't really matter what you say after. Those first 7 seconds are very, very critical in actually getting that person hooked into listening to you. Okay. Now, before I dive into it as well, I do want to say that no matter how, because if you guys are new, right, or maybe you're trying to figure out, okay, why can't I convert everyone, or you're trying to convert people who are unconvertible, I'll say this. There are people who, no matter how good you are, no matter your skill set, you're not going to be able to convert someone, right? Because there's going to be there's going to be a finite number of people who are going to open the door on you, and they're going to start closing the door, right? They're going to say, yeah, I'm not interested, shut the door. Those people, there's not really anything you can do. Maybe you just circle back to them. If you're in a farm area, you can circle back and hit them on a different day because you may have hit them at a bad time. You got to think when you're door knocking, honestly, when you're doing anything, but especially when you're door knocking, you are interrupting someone's day when they're usually in the middle of something, right? So you have to understand that if someone answers the door and you're nailing your first 7 seconds, but there's no connection, they're just like, yeah, sorry, we're not interested, shut the door. That's nothing you can do, right? Everyone's going to have that. I just want you guys to understand that no matter how good your first 7 seconds are, you're still going to get that. The goal is to hook the people who are actually interested, because that finite number of time, that 7 seconds, is the ultimate indicator to see if you're going to open up the conversation or not, okay? And ultimately to create your conversion. So I'm going to start here. So I'm not going to make this video super long. I'm just going to focus on this first little section here, which is starting from, I've already mentioned things in my pitch where like what really ties into your 7 seconds, if you guys know my videos, they're totally unscripted. I just go off the top, but I'm literally giving you guys 100% of my knowledge here. When you go door knocking, how you dress is the immediate first impression, because when you do your knock on the ring, or let's say ring doorbell, right? Or when someone sees you going out their driveway, how you're dressing is already a tool to spark curiosity, right? So that kind of, although this is longer than your first 7 seconds, that also ties into your first 7 seconds, how you appear. Make sure you have a nice pair of shoes on, okay? I heavily believe in investing in a nice pair of shoes. And by the way, guys, if you're door knocking, don't go in like dress, shirt, tie, suit, and you want to be comfortable, right? Come off as like business casual. If you guys have ever seen my videos, I wear like a nice Legend London t-shirt. It's just a plain black tee that's fitted, right? And I have usually I actually just have Lulu joggers on that look nice, and then I have like a nice, like my shoes are all like $500 to $1,000. They're nice. They're nice Adidas and Nike shoes, right? Like they're shoes that speak to someone, right? Like your shoes make up 90% of your outfit, right? You could have a super nice outfit on, but if you don't have nice shoes, it's totally ruined, right? You could have a suit, and then if you have clown shoes, who the hell cares? You know what I mean? So always know how you dress, right? Have a nice pair of shoes on. Make sure they're always clean. You don't have to be like the president clean, but like make sure they're clean, okay? And make sure you're dressed good, right? You're going to be boxing yourself. They're immediately going to box you into a category, right? So like, that's probably not something you want to hear, especially if this gets played back in like an audio. People are probably like, what the hell? Sorry, allergies. It's kind of allergy season here, so sorry about that. Anywho, so when you get to how you're dressing is going to be what's putting you in that box when you knock on the door. So if you knock on the door or someone sees you coming up their drive, they're immediately seeing you as what profession you're in. They're already like assessing who you are. Let's say you do like there's windows and door rep stuff like that, or there's weed like pest control stuff like that. They're all dressed in like a certain uniform, right? Weed man's like green and yellow, Brookstone's red, like all that stuff. People know that when those people are out and they have their iPads, they know they're sales reps. When I come up, it's a little bit different because I don't actually have anything. I do typically keep my flyers out, but that's because I just want to make sure they at least know who I am. But in the winter, they're literally tucked in my pockets. I just show up as a casual business professional, no name tag, anything. That way their curiosity is sparked because they're like, oh, there's someone who's dressed well, like professionally, like not professionally, but like dressed well at my door. Who might that be? Instead of, oh, another Brookstone window rep that was here 4 months ago. No, it's this guy that's dressed professionally well. That immediately sets my first 7 seconds, because even if they haven't seen me, the second they open the door, that's second number one, is how you are dressed. Okay, so make sure you guys dress promptly. So right, the next thing is how you approach. So how you knock and how you step back. This all is falling into your first 7 seconds, okay? So you're gonna knock on the door. Usually when I knock, it's boom, 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 boom. Or maybe if there's a ring, it's like ring goes doom, 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 and I'm just like boom, 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 boom. Like I just have like a unique knock. It just comes off natural for me, but you wanna have a unique knock. Do not go knock on someone's door being like boom, 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 because who knocks on the door like that? That's gonna be welcoming, right? Your knock has to be inviting. Okay, so curiosity and inviting. That's the main goal when you're hitting those first 7 seconds, is make sure their curiosity is sparked, but also be like, oh, that sounds like a friendly knock, instead of boom, boom, boom. Like I've had window reps and stuff like knocking my door. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Make sure you knock on the door in a cool manner, I guess. But after you knock, always hit their ring doorbell too. But when you knock, step 5 to 6 feet back. You can kind of tell, like you get that vibe when you're too far back or you're too close. Don't be too close. Don't be too far back. You can tell sometimes when you're too far back because it feels like you're too distant. 5 to 6 feet, okay? Like basically the porch, like a standard size porch, just step back. I usually put my 1 foot back on the one step, and my other one's up on the top porch. I'm kind of sitting sideways like this, right? I don't want to be like right in front of someone, but just staring at them, right? I want to have a bit of an angled body language just to get them the idea that, hey, I'm not confrontational and I'm actually going to get going here in just a second. That's what you want to give off, okay? So that's the second part. On top of what you're dressing is how you're knocking and how you're stepping back, okay? Although we know the first like 15 seconds someone might not come to the door, they can definitely come to the door in the first 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, okay? Now, where the actual communication part comes in, that's going to be your pitch, where that's 5 to 7 seconds hits, okay? So when someone answers the door, so someone opens the door, they can say, hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Match their tone, but also match what they say. If they go like, hello, you go like, hello, my name's Miguel, right? If they say, yeah, what do you want? Yeah, I don't want to do anything. Or don't say that, but when they say, yeah, what do you want? You say, yeah, there's something I might want from you. My name's Miguel. Like just something to throw them off when they're doing that stuff, okay? But like, because there's some people who are going to be a bit confrontational, like, yeah, can I help you? Yeah, potentially. My name's Miguel. And they're like, you gotta think of it this way. People want to work with someone that makes them feel comfortable and is like them. So... So yeah, I'm just off for today. We have a long weekend, so I'm just hanging out at home with my dog. But anyways, you want to make sure that they're comfortable with you, and part of that is mirroring and matching. It's called, if you guys are in sales, you know, mirror and match it, okay? Mirror and match is the best way to hit off that first 7 seconds. So the second you open the conversation, it's a mirror match. They go like, hello, hello, and then you go, my name's Miguel. Obviously, if your name's not Miguel, don't say that, but then now you go into the pitch. So after you mirror match, so the third part is mirroring, matching. The next part is your pitch. So I more so go to the point, but this intro part is what's gonna not even matter how you open it or what the rest of the body of your script is, anything, the hook, nothing. This is your hook right here. How you dress, how you knock, how you give them their space, and how you mirror match. That's immediately the first part of these 7 seconds. Now what you say is like this. They say, hello, my name's Miguel. I own a real estate team here in London. I'm with Keller. I'm from around the area. I'm with Keller Williams. You must be the homeowner, yes? Great. Have we ever spoke before? No? Perfect. Well, I don't want to take up all your time. I am going to get going here in just a second. The reason I'm out, and then you say your script, okay? So let's roll that again. Let's say I knock on the door. Let's do like a whole. If you guys have watched my videos, like go back and watch live door knocking. Like this is literally what I say, but it's kind of weird honestly doing this in front of a camera. But let's say I knock on the door, it's like boom, 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 and I step back, and then they open the door and they're like, "Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Good. Well, hey, my name's Miguel. I own a real estate team here in London. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm from around the area as well. You must be the homeowner, yes? Perfect. Have we ever spoke before or no? No? Okay, awesome. Well, hey, good to meet you first off. And I'm not going to take up all your time. I will get going here in just a second, as I understand you're busy and so am I, right? We get it these days. Go into your script. So if you can see that little section where I'm talking, that may have, I added in a couple other things, but that's really your first 7 seconds. It's like 7 to 10 seconds. That is the hook, right when I'm saying that. So you got to tailor all that in, right? How I'm dressing immediately triggers a flight or fight response. If I'm dressed as a window door rep, and I get it if you work for a doors, window company, stuff like that, you have to dress in a certain profound way. But if I'm dressed in a suit and I have a name tag and I have an iPad or whatever, right, then they're gonna think, oh gosh, like a friggin' salesperson, right? If I'm dressed in my nice Legend of London t-shirt, like a nice fitted black t-shirt that looks nice, it's hemmed, or sorry, it's not hemmed, it's ironed, I got a nice pair of pants and shoes on, and they're like, oh, this is like, who is this guy at my door, right? But you're not giving the vibe of like, who is this guy at my door? It's, oh, who is this guy at my door? And then they open, they're already curious, and then you're professional, you give them your space, right? Number 2 is giving them their space and having a friendly knock, and then mirror match is number 3, and then number 4 is what you're saying, which is, hello, my name's Miguel. I own a real estate team here in London. I'm with Keller Williams. You must be the homeowner. Yes? Perfect. We ever met before? Nice. Well, good to meet you first off. And I'm not going to take up all your time. We'll get going here in just a second. Your body language is number 5, right? So how you're stepping back and I'm going to get going here in just a second. I'm not going to take up all your time. The reason I'm out is, and I draw them right back in. That is exactly how you get a lot of leads at the doors and how you convert I convert 15 to 20% of my leads at the door. Obviously that can always be higher, right? I know people have different approaches, but what I do is this is gathering their information. Am I going to get someone who's going to be ready to sell? No, like that's like the 1% of people that you'll knock on. I've got a listing coming up this week where I met them in my farm. Within a week I signed them, but they're in my farm. They already knew who I was and I just knocked on the door at a good time, right? You got to think when you're door knocking, you're hitting people